Cowbell, we need cowbell.
I could have used a little more cowbell.
Hi, I'm Marcus and I play the shakuhachi and I play taiko. Maybe you've seen one of my previous videos where I unbox this thing here, the TAIKO-1, and where I gave you my first impressions of this instrument. Today I want to do the first in a two-part series, a mini-series, on how to practice with the TAIKO-1. And what I'm going to do is that I'll run through the 4 steps that you find in a typical practice session, and I use the TAIKO-1 because the TAIKO-1 has a few nice features that support practicing. So these 4 steps are just a general warm-up, doing some technical exercises, then working on a piece or working on a particular skill, and then the 4th one, the most important one, having some fun. But I also want to point out that you don't need a TAIKO-1 for these practices. These are the 4 steps that you use for any instrument. So what I'm going to do in particular is that I'll be using the metronome function of the TAIKO-1, then the practice function of the TAIKO-1. I play along to some Ji-uchis, which you can play from the TAIKO-1 and then play to it. And then I'll play along to some audio that you can stream via the TAIKO-1 as well. Alright, so for our first practice, the TAIKO-1 has an inbuilt metronome, and who doesn't love a metronome, right? I've actually not met a musician yet who really likes playing with the metronome, practicing with the metronome, because it really shows our shortcomings. But on the other hand, practicing with the metronome is probably the best way and the fastest way to improve your rhythm and your timekeeping. So, let's have a look at the TAIKO-1. So, here we are. Let's enter the menu. Here under lesson there is a metronome option, and you have the usual options for a metronome. So the first one is the tempo, the beats per minute that the metronome plays, and you can change this via these plus and minus buttons here. If you hold the tomoe button here, it goes in steps of 10. This is general for the TAIKO-1, that you can change settings faster by pressing the tomoe button. Okay, so the tempo is the first one. Then beats, these are the beats per bar. As again, always with any other metronome, you can change between 1 and 9 beats per bar. Then the rhythm type, you can have it beep for half notes, quarter notes, eighth notes, and so on. Let's keep this at quarter notes as it's usual. Then there is the sound. So the first setting is the normal metronome sound. Let's start playing this. Just as with any other digital metronome. Click.
1, 2,
Voice.
3, 4.
Beep. Beep 2. Tech click. Sticks. Wood block. Oh, and cowbell. Right. Cowbell. We need cowbell.
I could have used a little more cowbell.
Then there are, you can pan where the click occurs, left channel, right channel, and finally the metronome volume, which you can change from 0 and the maximum is 32. Okay, but let's keep this at 20, that's a good volume. For our first exercise, we do a little warm-up, just playing some Ji-uchis along with the metronome. So let's start this. Okay, easy enough. There are the 3 main Ji-uchi types, the Metronome, which I just played, the 3-hit, then Chichi-san, the 7-3 rhythm, the swinging rhythm, and then just gobu gobu, just straightforward doko doko doko. So let's play gobu gobu next. Paying attention to where our beats fall. Are we in time with the metronome? I'm rushing because I'm filming. Okay, just some gentle gobu gobu. And then finally, let's play Shichi-san. Right hand falls on the beats, left hand falls at the 70% mark. Right, okay. So, of course, in a row practice, we do this for a few minutes for every rhythm. And then the next thing is to play faster. So, let's change the tempo. Let's go to something moderately fast, say 170, and play again some Ji-uchi. Okay, for faster rhythms, as you may be aware, take care that the hand doing the most work, the right hand in my case, is not tensing up. So let's see, how fast does this thing go? 260, right, okay, so let's play Ji-uchi-san at 260. Okay, let's see how this goes.
You're gonna want that cowbell.
If you want to practice faster than that, you have to half time the metronome, but then of course you can play any speed with the metronome. Right, okay, so playing fast is really useful as a warm-up as well, just to get the blood flowing. And then now let's go very slow. So let's do 60. 60 is still okay, 60 is not painfully slow. And let's play again Ji-uchi. In my dojo, Ji-uchi is the standard Ji-uchi that we play, so I usually warm up with a lot of Ji-uchi. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Taking care not to rush. And so on. Play all the Ji-uchis with slow tempo, gobu gobu, Ji-uchi-san, Ji-uchi. If you and your group have other Ji-uchis that you play, of course, practice those as well at the different speeds. Okay, that's a good first exercise as a warm-up. Playing some Ji-uchis with the metronome, taking care where the beats fall, not rushing, not dragging. First practice done, on to the second practice. Alright, so after we've warmed up a bit with playing some Ji-uchis to the metronome, let's use another useful function on the TAIKO-1. And this is, if we go back here, this is called practice. So if we select that, the practice setting allows you to play along with the metronome beat, but the metronome will stop for a bar, for 2 bars, for 4 bars. So let's go through these settings. These are the measures for each round, and we can change those between 2 measures on the one side and 16 measures on the other side. Let's keep this at 4. Quiet. So this means for how many bars the metronome will be quiet and you have to play the Ji-uchi or the rhythm that you're practicing. Okay, so either quiet for 1 bar, for 2 bars. So actually if you go up to 16, you can set this to 4, that's the maximum. You also have a random setting, so you don't know in advance for how many bars you will have to carry the rhythm yourself. For demonstration, let's just again do something straightforward. 4 bars and 1 bar quiet. And the metronome again is set to 20 here. 20 is good value. So, and this uses the metronome settings from the other menu that we just had. So we're still at 60 beats per minute. So let's quickly change this actually to, let's go back to 110. That's always a nice speed to practice at. And for demonstration, that's quite useful, I think, if I'm not confused by what I'm doing. Right, okay. What's happening now is that the metronome will play for 3 bars and then it will be quiet for 1 bar. Second bar. It says ready. Okay, and then it gives you an accuracy measure. Because I've not been playing, this obviously is 0 at the moment. And let's start. I'll just play some Ji-uchi and let's see how good my accuracy is. Okay. You've probably been there before the first time. I'm sure you remember still when you were playing with your taiko group and everybody else fell silent and you actually had to play just by yourself and keep the beat. It's difficult. So this is why this is a really good exercise. Of course, you can just record some Ji-uchi and a quiet bar with your phone, for example, and then play along to that. The TAIKO-1 has the nice feature, if you like these things, that it gives you an accuracy score for how well you're doing in the quiet bar. Of course, this is not really necessary. But the good thing about this exercise, so regardless of the technology, regardless of this drum, the good thing about this exercise is that it's a very good practice of keeping the beat when you're on your own. Which again, as I already said, we're not really used to when we're playing taiko, that we just play on our own. So this is the second of the practices that I wanted to demonstrate using the TAIKO-1. Okay, so this is the first video with the first two exercises. I hope you find them useful. If you have ideas for practices yourself, please leave me a comment down below. I always appreciate that. I'm always looking for new ways to practice. Practices 3 and 4 are already filmed. They will be following in the second video. If you don't want to miss that video, please subscribe to my channel. That was very subtle, wasn't it? Please subscribe to my channel and I'll link my previous video up here. And if you want to subscribe, you have a button here. And I hope to see you in one of my next videos. So what I'll do is that well, if I knew, just your mobile phone recording yourself, or with your computer recording yourself, playing with yourself. For our first exercise, we'll do
I could have used a little more cowbell.